Hi and welcome back to the Remington 700 build series. As you can see, we're still working on the 223. In the last video we went through bringing down your trigger pull from the stock factory, what are we looking at, 5 to 7 pounds, down to, I think I got it about 2.5 pounds. Since then, what I've done is I've mounted a Picatinny rail to it. It's a tier 1 20 MOA rail, so we can reach out a bit farther with a standard 30mm tube. If I had a 1-inch tube or a smaller scope, I probably wouldn't bother with a canted rail, because you're not really going to get the best out of it unless you have a very particular scopes that do have a lot of range in it, a 1-inch tube. But a 30mm tube, there's no harm putting a 20 MOA rail on there, because you're going to get more out of the elevation travel inside. So the next trouble we had with this guy, if you remember, was it wasn't sitting straight in the stock. Now, since the last episode, I have bedded this gun last night actually, and I just cracked it out of the stock and finished it up. Now, I wanted to do a whole video on how to do it, but we had clerical error while we're setting up the camera to record scoring the aluminium block and getting the bedding in and setting it up straight. But it is identical to any of the other 2 or 3 bedding videos I did. I think the last one I did might have been on a Remington, and it's pretty much the exact same as that. You just tape up your barrel, so there's, let's say, 7 wraps on this side, 7 wraps on that side, and it'll sit square in the barrel channel, and you just prepare it like you would in the videos I was talking about. And you don't, because this is not going to be sitting on pillars. If you torqued it down for it to dry, it'll only end up twisting itself back and causing a lot of stress. So you're only really taping this into the action, so it's sitting in there and floating, and well, it's not floating by the end, it's all sitting properly, but it'll sit and set square if you don't put too much pressure on. So I just wrapped 5 or 6 wraps of tape around it, and that was enough to keep it squeezing the goop out the sides, and it's good to go. So I'm going to pull it out here now and show you the bedded action. I'll be showing you the clips that I got throughout the way, like cleaning up the action and the other little bits that I did manage to get recordings back off. So at the moment it's sitting at 50 inch-pounds, and it does feel quite snug. Once it hits the 50, it clicks. There's no tightness getting up to it. It's just right there on 50 and it clicks. Especially if you're using wooden stocks, you'll find without pillars, I wouldn't maybe go to 50 on one of those. I'd be more for 40 inch-pounds, but you'll feel it getting tight much more before it actually clicks. But on a stock like this, it'll almost get tight and click at the exact same time, because there's no sag inside the stock to take out, which is quite nice. So I have no box mag in here. I have it down on the table, and we'll pick her up here and take her out. I'll switch to this camera so you guys can see the bedding job that is finished now. Okay, so starting at the back, the rear takedown screw, it's nice and finished around it. Going up the sides, it's nice and bedded up on the 2 sides here. I put no compound along this side. This side is all nice and we're done. This side's all nice and finished here, all the way back. And the important part up here, you can see it's good and tight in there. The recoil lug itself, when I put the action into the stock to sit, I put a little bit of tape on the front face of the recoil lug on the bottom side and the 2 left and right sides, so that the front of the recoil lug and the sides will be slightly wider than it needed to be. So when I took it out, it'll be a lot easier to remove and a lot easier to sit back in there again. But nothing against the back surface of the recoil lug, because that's where you want to be as square and as tight as possible. And that's all sitting right. I've put not even a ½ an inch. You can see the size of my finger here. Just in front of, a little bit over about a third of an inch in front of the recoil lug, I filled in. I'm going to see how it runs. I might take this off and see how that runs after that. But the whole reason for all this is it was not sitting square in the stock. So I'm going to just try and maneuver this camera and mount this at the same time. There we go. So it's just sitting in the stock there, no pressure on it. Now you can see from the rear, get this focused up here, that there's a perfect equal distance each side of the channel, going from back here all the way up to the front. And what was screwing with it before was down here, it was super close. And I'll be able to show you the side by side now. So right now, if we get directly above it, it's easier to line up with the recoil lug and focus. There, we're nice and square, the two sides, and even without it being clamped down, getting a great return back to zero. Actually, you can see how far it comes back off it, and the same thing if we go over this side. But I'll clamp it down now and we'll take a quick look. So as I said, we're actually sitting at 50 inch-pounds on this. Most pillar bedded and aluminium bedded chassis request something like 60, but I'm just going to go with 50 because we can tune up and down after that. I had this in an AIAW chassis during the week, shooting some groups to see what it was capable of on a proven test bed, and really nice. And it preferred 40 inch-pounds, but we'll start at 50 and we'll see how this goes. So it's just been put into the stock. Take a look straight down, line everything up. There we go. Get a lovely equal side, left and right. Now let's try a little bit of pressure here. And before I could do this with 2 fingers. Now I can't do it squeezing it with my left hand at all. And I can't touch the sides. I can just about bottom out if I really put pressure on it. But yeah, I'm well pleased with that workout there. And so the next thing we're going to do, we're going to go and shoot some groups with this and see what kind of accuracy we're going for. And as I said, I have had this in an AIW chassis, so I know what a proven chassis will do. We'll see what this DIY job does to a gun. They were shooting, yeah, it was shooting grand. It was shooting MOA. It was shooting a lot better. Not going to give the numbers yet in an AIW chassis, but and that was with just I think it was American Eagle red box 20 bulk ammo, really cheap, nothing special, but it seems to be pretty good. So we're going to get out. We're going to try some groups in this. We're going to mount the scope in its original Night Force rings on this lovely tier 1 20 MOA rail, and I think the next thing we're going to do is add a Cadex cheek riser to the back of this thing, because I know for sure I'm going to be miles low on this. I was low before. Now that I have a Picatinny rail and taller mounts, I'm going to be even lower and I won't be able to shoot comfortably. So maybe for the first couple of shots we'll use a really risen up cheek bag, and then we're going to go to a Cadex cheek riser. Not sure what type of brand yet, but that'll be the next video. So thanks guys for watching. In the next video during the week, we're going to go out and get some groups with this now that we've done the trigger and the bedding, and see what kind of improvement we have over the original groups. So thanks guys, and I'll see you next time.